E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories, broadcasting and live streaming to millions of devices around the world, including Roku, and live streaming to Facebook Live. Also on Amazon Fire TV and to Twitch. Also Android TV and Periscope. Broadcasting to Apple TV and YouTube Live. Proudly brought to you by our host, Donna, producer and host, Michaela Vidal, host and administrator, and Jim Grant, producer and host. Proudly brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Messages of Inspirational Stories. Jim, what a week we are going to have in front of us.
Oh, yes, we are. We're going to be talking about the things in life that really matter really aren't things. Oh, my goodness. The best things in life are just, they come to you. And yeah, it's just amazing how the energy is what we're talking about here and how it will come to your rescue, because I want to reach out to this solo entrepreneur, because I know what that's like. You don't have anybody in your team. You don't have a team, really.
And well, you do. You, yourself, and I.
Yeah, the big three, me, myself, and I.
Right.
But when you're looking for help, everybody wants one thing from you, and that's your credit card. And people like that, I'm not saying they don't have good products and services out there. I'm saying you do need some good products and services. But that's what we normally run into as a solo entrepreneur. We keep bumping our heads against what's your credit card,
Right.
And being able to find a team of people who have the same kind of heart as you.
Critical.
Yes. And I tell you what, Donna and I were on a call with 3 other people. We're working on a project, and we ran into a brick wall.
Little bit of a roadblock.
Yep. And we're sitting there, we're trying to figure it out. The question came to Donna, but another person asked it first, asked one question.
Right.
And the other person, who was just, this is when you get focused on the forest, but you can't see the trees, or vice versa, however that goes. Oh yeah, I've already got that. And everything fell into place. All of the big things that we thought.
All the obstacles went away.
Yeah. Thank you, Donna. You said it best. And it was brought on by pure energy, because when like-minded people are talking about a problem and you're discussing different options, the energy always comes in with the right question at the right time, and that gives you the right answer. That's my point.
Yes. Absolutely.
And we left that meeting, let me say, and we were all happy as kids at a carnival.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you the truth. That's right. Yep. And we'll all be drinking that green bubble up and eating that rainbow stew. Hint, hint. But sincerely, it's really amazing how, when like-minded people get together for a common cause and they're working together for the same mutual benefit of all, how the energy has a way of just opening the door for you.
Right. But it has to be people who are harmonically, energetically in tune with the same goals in mind.
Yes, because everybody there was focused on what they bring to the party.
Right.
And I describe it it's like a potluck. We're going to have a nice lunch and a dinner here together, and everybody brings in their special dish to share. And that's exactly what you need out there. And that's just what and Donna, if someone is out there and They're saying, wow, I like what you guys are talking about, but I don't have anybody. How could I go about finding people? And my off the top of my head would be check into blogs and groups
Hmm.
that have common interest and ask questions.
Right.
I mean, because that's all we did last night. One question was asked, and the problem was solved.
Absolutely. And also, if you're into networking, whether it's
Hmm.
visual or virtual world, I mean,
Yeah.
or in person, you know what? Ask questions,
Hmm.
talk
Ask
to
for
people.
help.
Hmm.
Ask for help.
You know,
And
and that's a real easy way to do it. Hey, what did you do? I feel like I'm stuck right now in my
yeah.
business. What did you do when you were in my, position to
Hmm.
get to build it up further?
Hmm. You're exactly right, because there's one thing that people love to do,
Talk
and
about
that
themselves.
is give you their opinion.
Yep.
And it's
Talk about
free.
themselves and give their opinions.
Hmm. That's exactly right. So, therefore, when you're asking for opinions, you want to make sure you're asking the right people,
Right.
and people who are successful, who can help you, people who are got some experience. In other words, if you go down to see your mechanic to work on your car, uh, I'm not going to ask my mechanic for his opinion on my heart, since I had open heart surgery, am I?
Right.
So
Right.
therefore, you don't go to someone that's broke and
Right.
ask them for financial advice. They
Right.
can't help you.
Stay in the wheelhouse, folks. Stay in
There
the
you go.
wheelhouse.
There you go. And Donna, we talk about, the best things in life aren't things. That is so true, isn't it?
It really is. We are excited. We are talking this week on the 7 levels of truth
Hmm.
by Mr. Bill Heinrich.
Yes, we
And
had
this
Bill
is,
on this Friday, didn't we? This
yes, we
past
did.
Friday.
And we're going
Yeah.
to have him on again this coming Friday.
Yes,
So
because
we are excited. But this chapter is really, really amazing.
mhm, it really is. I mean, it's just amazing how, like the very first sentence, if I may read you this sentence, share this with you. Now, this is Bill writing, okay? So I'm going to read it verbatim. Bill says, trust is the secret ingredient that has allowed me to experience freedom. Think about that. Everybody wants freedom. Trust is the secret ingredient that allowed me to experience freedom. Bill says, I didn't trust myself or my logic before because my motivations had always been fueled by expectations.
Right?
Oh my goodness. How many times have I been motivated by my expectations? You know, we could be here for a couple of years now, folks. But really, I mean, think about that. That is really, that gives you something to bite into. And it gives something that your mind can, ponder about and think and go like, wow, I always thought, I was fueled by my expectations. And,
Right.
it's, the problem with that is you're thinking physically.
Hmm.
You're stuck in the physical world. If we'd have remained stuck with our physical barriers last night in that meeting that we just talked about,
We'd still be there today.
yeah. But once we open our minds and we allowed the energy to flow and come in, it came with the answer.
Right? It
Came
really,
with the answer. Mm. And that's just amazing. And that's just one piece of one little grain of sand on the beach.
hmm
It
hmm
really is. Because if you're looking for love and abundance and you want to enjoy the best that this life has to offer, you need to turn on your love button. And I'm not talking about physical love. I'm talking about the love for yourself, the love for humanity, the love that it takes to forgive yourself and forgive others and forget about it.
Right? That's a big one.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big one.
Who's the toughest person to forgive?
Yourself, always.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
hardest to forgive ourselves. right? We beat ourselves up the most.
Yeah, because we're the first ones to remember everything, don't we, Donna?
Exactly.
Yeah. How many
Two,
times I've told myself, you moron, you good gosh, Grant,
right?
But it's amazing how, once we learn that is a soul and a self destroyer, we get smart enough and train our brain to say every time that comes up, I'm just going to say, I forgave myself.
Right.
It doesn't matter anymore. And go on and focus on the positive things of life. It really,
Right.
it's amazing. Because I want to read that again. Bill says, I didn't trust myself or my logic before because my motivations had always been fueled by expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I know there's someone out there that impacted them just like it did me because
Right.
that was singing my song for years.
Right.
And I've been around a few years, you might say.
And just, yeah, one of my cats is in here in studio with me. So when you see a tail or a head poke up, y'all know why.
Yeah.
One of the four. One of the four.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, she has a cat house. Go ahead.
I do. I really do. I love the next part he talks about in this. And
Okay.
he says, I have since found that my results are
Hmm.
better when I let the universal vibration determine the outcome. And that's exactly what Jim was just describing about our meeting last night.
Yeah.
I learned to trust the universe by observing my energy. As I stepped back from my emotions, it allowed me to look at any situation in life objectively. Now, that's huge. So,
Hmm.
I'll give a quick example. My husband has this saying that I find amazing. He says, and it puts it very much into perspective. If you've got a problem, okay, and this is putting it together so you can see it maybe more clearly. It's sort of like if you're driving in your car and you've got a hot cup of coffee. Well, when you take a sip of that coffee, you always look to make sure that there's no speed bump or a pothole, right, in the road, so that when you take that sip of coffee, it doesn't splash hot coffee all over you, right? That's the same thing. You have to be able to look objectively to make sure you can find that solution.
Forgive me for smiling when she was saying that because I remember, with guys, buddy, in the military, we'd be going somewhere and let somebody turn a coffee cup up and we automatically hit the accelerator. That's not nice. I want to say one thing too, folks. Donna and I made the decision to read some comments directly from this book for two reasons. Number one, so you could get the full benefit of the information in here. And also, number two, to share with you what's in this book in the event you'd like to buy it, because I tell you right now, you will not be disappointed.
No, you won't.
In fact, Bill's got it on Amazon and stuff like that. It's all over. And, but also, too, Bill will be more than happy. You don't even have to buy the book. Let me put it up here. Bill will be more than happy to give you a free 30-minute consultation, a complimentary consultation. And he's going to be sharing information like this with you. Put a price tag on that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, and I will say this, Bill will not hound you if you choose to go there. Bill is extremely busy. He will not email spam you. He will not get in touch with you. He will give you your 30-minute consultation, and that'll be that.
Yeah.
Right? He is far too busy to be going after people and hounding them and hounding them. And, those of us who, been around more than a minute, right? We all hate that. We all hate that when you go in and somebody offers something and then they just spam the living bejeebers out of
Oh
your
yeah.
email box, or I am you, and just continuously. You may not know him from Adam. So that is just
Mm.
not who Bill is.
Yeah. And it's kind of like if you, always, normally I put in my dummy load email, which goes to another account, especially when I'm inquiring about information or wanting something. You got to get your email address in there. So I'll send them a dummy load. And man, I go about every week or two and catch it. And it's 300, 400, emails in there. And that's because these people, they send you the information. Then the next day they send you an email. Then the next day they send you an email. And going like, good grief. I
Right.
wasn't sitting here waiting for you guys to give me something to do. And
Exactly.
plus the fact you have our word on this, ladies and gentlemen. Donna and I will not, I repeat, we will not endorse a spammer,
No.
a smoker, or a joker. We only endorse real people like we are who will treat you just like you want to be treated
Right.
and just like we want to be treated, right? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So you have our word on that. And
Absolutely.
and Donna, you won't believe what I'm doing.
What's that?
Well, I'm over here having fun, and you're going to laugh when I say this.
Okay. He might be trying to get me to snort again, y'all.
No, no, no. This is a nicety to know. You know what that is? Chapstick, right?
Okay.
What do you use chapstick for?
Well, let's just, knowing you, Jim, I'm just going to preference this by saying that
God
most
only knows.
right, God only knows. I mean, most people use it for their lips, but this is Jim
Oh, yeah.
Grant we're talking
Yeah.
about, folks.
Yeah. I'm mentally challenged. Realistically, in the wintertime, by me washing my hands a lot, especially when I lived out in Arizona, I worked outside a lot. My knuckles and fingers would get very sore and they would crack. And I put, all types of lotions, potions. I would have put weasel grease on it if I heard it would work. But one day I was out and I had a knuckle just kind of cracked open a little bit right there. You know how bad that thing hurts. And I had some chapstick put on my lips and I said, well, I'm going to put it on there. It works. So if you suffer from, raw knuckles and stuff like that and things of this nature, I don't have any stock in chapstick. If you chapstick people that watch, if you don't send me a box of it, I'll take it. But anyway, that is something that's really been a blessing to me because I suffered from that. And I just wanted to share that with you. And I won't charge you for that either. See, I did get a laugh a little bit.
Oh,
I got
Jim,
snow.
you do go off the deep end every now and then. I love it. I love it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
It,
what are this whole chapter in Bill's book um, is really quite amazing. To me, it's one of the more eye-opening chapters of his book. I got a cat over here trying to get up my lap. I love this because he says, I observe what happened and ask how I could improve it by providing supportive energy. This approach reduced my involvement significantly and provided me with a lot more free time to do other things. In the past, I was attached to chaos and I reacted from a perspective of survival with a need to protect myself. Whoa. We just talked about that the other day, that was, chaos was in my life.
oh yeah.
And it was not a good thing. And
Yeah.
once I separated myself from the people who were causing chaos, guess what? All the calmness and the energy flowed right back into my life.
Yeah. Because wherever there's fear or chaos or anything like that, what you really want out of life cannot enter because the space has already been filled.
Right.
You can't put 2 gallons of gas in a 1 gallon container. The second gallon's going to go on the ground. And therefore you got to release all that stuff. And when it leaves, the love and the energy gets sucked in like a vacuum.
Right? That's what fills up.
Mm-hmm. And that's
All
what
the
you
love and
want.
the energy. Mm-hmm.
That's what you're entitled to. You really are. You're entitled to live a life of love. And when I say luxury, I'm not talking about things. I'm talking about the luxury of enjoying the comfort of life,
Right.
to have a
Your inner
satisfied
peace and
mind.
tranquility.
Yes, amen. Because that's the type of luxury we all could use, to have peace and quiet in our lives and in our mind. And you're entitled to that. I don't care
Right.
who you are. I don't care if you don't have a nickel in your, a dollar bill in your pants or your purse or whatever. You're entitled to that. It's a free gift from the
Mm-hmm.
creator of the universe. It really is. And that's why Donna and I, we like reading from this book, because we want to share with you the true nuggets. And notice that Bill said it took him 25 years to put this book together.
Right.
And you can see with the way he expresses himself, Donna, how he gets down into the
The nitty
real,
gritty of it.
yeah, the nitty gritty. That's exactly what I was trying to say. And because he talks about, he was attached to the chaos, and which he reacted from a perspective of survival with the need to protect myself. Oh my goodness gracious.
Right?
We've all been there.
Oh boy,
Nobody's
has it.
immune from that.
Right?
Yeah. Mhm. And he goes on to say, or maybe I saw an opportunity to get someone's approval by taking care of the problem or taking care of them. Notice here what he's saying. He saw an opportunity to get someone else's approval.
Right.
What does that say about his own self-worth and his self-esteem?
Wasn't there.
It wasn't there. Mm-mm.
He was trying
He's
to
looking
fill
for
up.
outside.
Right. Outside validation.
Right, exactly. And that is something that just we've all, again, I say we've all been there because we have.
Mm-hmm.
How many times, you think back in your life, especially with peer pressure when you were younger, if someone approved of you, you felt better about yourself.
Right.
You should feel good about yourself right now. You really should. Whether some people, want to praise you or some people want to put you down, you should be on that even keel, because,
Absolutely.
no one, their approval or disapproval of you can rob you of the love and abundance that's so rightfully yours. It doesn't belong to anybody else.
Right.
And last week we were talking about those gifts and how there's 7 divine gifts and everybody has a portion of them.
Right.
And some have more, in one area than another, but we all have the same 7 divine gifts. That's why
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's why Bill calls this book the 7 levels of truth, because those divine gifts are truth.
Right.
And it's as true as the heartbeat in your veins and the breath in your lungs.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I love the next portion of this where he says,
Okay.
I took action even when I didn't need to be involved because of my survival instincts. I
Mm.
didn't know how to trust myself or anyone else. And trust is not a tool used for survival. When I achieved universal energy, I was required to trust implicitly.
Wow. That's some heavy stuff right there.
Really is.
I mean, it just, I got some buddies out there, Bubba and Einstein. Now, Bubba and Einstein, I know you guys missed that the first time. So I'm going to ask Donna, from the kindness of her heart, to read that again and really close your eyes this time. And I want you to focus in on Donna's voice and her words.
I took action even when I didn't need to be involved because of my survival instincts. I didn't know how to trust myself or anyone else. Trust is not a tool used for survival. When I accessed universal energy, I was required to trust implicitly.
Mm. Bill was in a desperate situation there. That's the best way to describe it. He was desperate there. And he's looking. And he's like a man on an island. He's all by himself. And goodness gracious. Because how many times in our lives have we've known people, and we've been guilty too, people that they're always searching for approval.
Always searching for the next thing.
Yes. Gosh, I feel sorry for them. I really do, because there was a time in my life that maybe not as severe as others, but we've all been there where we're
Sure.
looking for approval. We're looking for acceptance.
For
You know,
validation.
yeah. I mean,
And it all comes from within.
oh
That's
yeah.
the thing. You have to validate yourself before anything else outside of that happens.
hmm
And that comes from love
Yes.
and the energy.
hmm And if someone laughs at you, let it go, because they're demonstrating how immature, ignorant, and also they're looking for a way to feel better about themselves.
Right.
I got to tell you a little story. I back in the '70s when I wasn't in the military, I had these long sideburns and all. Okay, and after I retired, I go out to Tombstone, Arizona, run into some of my buddies out there who are the gunslingers and all that, and we got talking about a good friend of mine who's no longer with us, Wes Flowers. And Wes was he was in movies and things of this nature. He was a gun expert with the movies and did a lot of westerns and stuff. And they say, "Hey Jim, you ought to grow some sideburns. You got to fit in with us." So okay, I used to have some. I'm gonna do it. So I did. And guess what? Of all places. Now, I'm obviously not someone that's looking for peer approval. I could care less, you know? And I used to say before I read this book, it's because I'm comfortable with myself, and I am. But even at church, I had a couple of grown men stand there looking at you. Look at you.
Right.
I thought, my gosh, that looks like something from grade school. So I walked up to him, I looked him in the eye. You know what I said?
What's that?
I'm saving money, and I'm also trying to cut back on the use of my razor blades. I mean, you look at me, if you come at me with some nonsense like that, get ready, because I'm going to come back at you. But my point being is that here are grown men still acting like little bitty boys.
Right.
And somewhere deep down inside, there is something missing. Because if they can make fun of me, and that's what they were doing, they weren't teasing me, it's making fun of me.
Right.
It's to make them feel better about themselves. And if you're in church and you need something to make you feel better about yourself, you got a problem. Pardon me for being blunt, but you got a problem. I mean, there's something, you might be missing cassette somewhere between your ears there. Maybe a circuit panel got burned out, but I mean, it's a pitiful place to make fun of someone. It really is.
It is. And, I always think about this. My goodness, we don't know what somebody else's struggles are because we don't have a crystal ball into their life.
Right.
Right. And are you adding to the love and joy and abundance, or are you trying to deplete it? Because when you do that, you first and foremost deplete it from yourself.
That's right.
Then you deplete it from them. And it's a universal effect, guys. It's a synopsis that is contagious. Just like, somebody who's always happy, and we all know those people, right? They're always happy. They're always in an uplifting mood. They're always, a smile on their face. That is energy that is in abundance. You want to catch it. Well, the same is true vice versa. Somebody comes in, they're always grumpy, they're always complaining, they're always making snarly remarks. Guess what? That is an energy that we do not want to have contagious to ourselves. We don't want to repel it.
You're absolutely correct, because Yeah, you see people like that. You see them coming
You never see
immediately.
him going.
Yeah, if they got a smile on their face and they're, people who, are well balanced, as I like to call it, and you can feel the love, and their focus is on being a blessing to you. You want to migrate to those people.
Right.
And being a light is a good way of describing them because it's just kind of like going out at night. You see the street light out there, and guess what? All the bugs are there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because light attracts life. It really does. And when you see someone come in a room there that they're just totally opposite, they're grumpy, they're always, down and grumbling and complaining. Who needs that?
Right.
Nobody. Nobody. And it's really sad because they're so filled with that. People that could share positive things, love and light in their life. Well, you got to get rid of some stuff because, like I say, you can't put 2 gallons of gas in a 1-gallon container.
Right.
You got to drain the excess out.
Absolutely.
And universal energy is invisible. Oh,
Right.
I like
I
that.
love this one.
Yeah, I tell you, it's amazing. He said non-physical. Okay, universal energy is invisible. It's non-physical, and it's always in motion, expanding organically. And you read something like that, Donna, what goes through your mind? Universal energy is invisible. I can understand invisible.
Sure.
Non-physical, okay, I can understand that. And it's always in motion, expanding organically. Oh, wow. Because the universe is expanding and it is a vibration.
Right.
It really is. And so it takes energy for anything to expand. We understand that.
Absolutely.
But it's expanding organically, with this energy. And it's just with it expanding like that, that means for you and me and everybody else on planet Earth, we have all the energy that we need to live in love and abundance.
And how are we tapping into it?
Right. Exactly.
That's the question. How are we tapping into it?
Mm-hmm. And the bill goes on and says, like vibrations, attracting like vibrations, coming together in a constant state of expansion. What is he saying there? I think we experienced a little bit of that last night, didn't we?
Right.
We really did.
We did. It was just the like-minded people looking for the like-minded answers, benefiting all.
Right.
Okay. Right there is half of the key, folks. Benefiting all. All our energies was in the right place. But we wanted to benefit everybody. There wasn't one person in that room who should or should not benefit more than the other.
That's right. Because a lot of people in this world, ladies and gentlemen, they're just interested in how they can better themselves. And it's really sad because they really don't want to share their blessings with others.
Right.
And that's when you go, that's when you grow, that's when life starts opening up doors for you, is when you start sharing, the things in life that you've been blessed with and share it with others. And this can be physically as well as non-physical. I mean, it just really can be. If you have a special gift that you can, create something. I don't care if I'm going to say something simple like sewing a garment or, putting together a blanket or something like that, and you give it to someone.
Right.
I mean, made with your hands of love. I mean, goodness.
Just even pouring into, if you're in a state of mind where maybe you're just not feeling so great, things aren't going so well, if you go and pour your love into somebody else who's in that same place, or maybe even not as high up in a bad place as you are, right? But if you pour into them, that will fill you up.
Oh yeah. It sure will. And I mean, just there's many ways you can reach out to people because a lot of people, when they're hurting, they want to put themselves into an enclosure in a pen.
Right.
And you ask them out, hey, would you like to have a cup of coffee? Nah, that's okay. I'm not really in the mood or whatever, but find something. Even if you ask questions of others, I don't know why I'm talking about this. Must be someone out there needing to hear this, but find something that they really like, or maybe they have a need,
Right.
and it might be, going to the grocery store. I heard they have a sale, and I'm gonna go down to the grocery store. You want to go with me? Well, they may have a need to pick up some groceries. Try something.
Right.
Try something, and it's don't quit just because you strike out. Don't quit.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you go to the grocery store and you pick up something and you stop there and say, hey, they had these on sale, or when I saw that, it had your name on it. How many times have you heard that line?
Right.
They say a line, but how many times have people said that? When I saw that, it had your name on it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
just anything like that to help brighten their day, because if they're hurting, they need a tow rope,
Right.
a big tow rope. They really do.
And that kind of goes into this next part of what he's talking about. He says,
Okay.
after the expanding organically, like vibrations attracting like vibrations
Hmm.
and coming together in a constant state of expansion. You get to see the results of this every day in your life.
Hmm.
Sometimes it catches you surprise, like thinking of someone you haven't seen in quite some time, then
Hmm.
seeing them or they call shortly after. Have you ever had an experience where you meet someone, your energies are overwhelmingly attractive to both of you, and you become quick friends?
Mm.
That is the energy of the
Hmm.
universe.
That's how me and Dandy Don McGrath met. First time we met, I just knew he's going to be my friend for life. I
Mm,
didn't know the particulars of it. I thought we're just going to be buddies. Maybe get Facebook friends and each other. Hey, how you doing?
right?
I'm doing art. But the calling of the universe had a higher plane for both of us. We didn't know that.
Right.
And I tell people the best way I can describe Don McGrath to them is that Don is the friend that you have not met yet.
Right.
I can't think of any more accurate words to describe Dandy
No,
Don.
no. But I
Wonderful
have to
guy.
go one step farther and say I could say
Okay.
the same very thing of you, Jim.
Thank you.
You know, Jim is not only my business partner, but he's also one of my best friends,
Mm-hmm.
right? We are on the phones multiple times a week. His
Mm-hmm.
wife and my husband just know, okay, well, they're talking to, Jim's talking to Donna and Donna's
Mm-hmm.
talking to Jim. It might be a while.
Yeah. Yeah, we were on the phone this morning for almost an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was after we were at a meeting.
Right. That's that. And that usually happens every time we're on a meeting.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, because there's a lot. It was a very good meeting we were into, and the reason I'm good in meetings is because I'm the guy that asks the dumb questions. You know, because I hate, you know, not knowing something, and I ask dumb questions because I want to know the basics of stuff. But after that meeting, I mean, every question was answered and everything was demonstrated right there. I go, oh my
Right.
goodness! Because I asked Donna during the meeting, I said, how you thinking? She says, I love this. I said, me too. So that
Right.
means it's a done deal. But even then, we get on the phone. We spent 58 minutes or something like that.
Something like that.
I tell you, but it's that's the kind of time that you really love to spend with your family and your friends, because we are family,
Absolutely.
we are friends, and it's just plus the fact you know we're there for each other as far as family and friends. We really are,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it's so nice to have someone that thinks about you and will pray for you in your hour of need, because we all have hours of need. Nobody,
Mhm.
everybody goes from clam bam to wham once in a while. It keeps you humble, right?
Right. Well, a prime example is when you were undergoing all your heart surgery and stuff.
Mhm.
Evelyn was in contact with me via text
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? She was the voice because she knew I was on the other end over here in Arizona going, okay, what's going on? What's going
Hmm.
on?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and we're
Yeah.
lucky. We're lucky that we have the spouses we do.
Yes. 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 Because they understand us and they appreciate us. And I didn't know that Evelyn's going to do that, but that just really blessed my heart when Donna told me that, because when you go in for open heart surgery and you got 4 bypasses and you come out, you're not really thinking about your cell phone
Right.
or the remote. You're
Right.
just thinking about how you
Right.
feel. Oh, all right,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah,
So,
that's great. We're getting here in the book here, and he talks again about. I'm reading here again about. Have you ever experienced when you meet someone and your energies are overwhelmingly attractive to each other's friends? And what a wonderful feeling that is. That means that you were destined to meet that person, not for just friendship and funship and all those good things, but how can you expand on that? Because
right.
life's all about expansion. It really is. And he says we've given examples of energy and motion, and the proofs how you felt when it happened.
Right.
That's the proof in the pudding. It really is.
Abs-
I really like the way Bill expresses himself
I
here.
do too. I do
It's a
too, because
it's a
it's very easy to understand.
yeah, it's grassroots reality here.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then his next part, he says, typically this is called a coincidence, but it defies an explanation from a physical perspective. It
Mhm.
is energy in motion connecting in the non physical and manifesting into physical form.
Mm.
As I learned about manifesting, I immediately realized it required me to create positive energy,
Mm.
let go of any attachment to the outcome, and just trust.
Yeah, let go of the attachments.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
And that's
That's a
hard for us to do.
mhm. Yeah, it really is, because sometimes we're so attached to something. It could be something physical or beliefs or whatever, but
Person, place, or thing.
yep, yep, yep. You get so attached to that, but it's uh I'm trying to explain to think about a couple that I knew, and I heard it described like this: is that the only reason why they stayed together was because they could not stay apart. But when they're together, they fought like cats and dogs, and they did.
Hmm.
But if they were separated, they couldn't live without each other.
Right.
And I think we've all seen people like that. They grumble, they fight, they this and that, but yeah, you separate them, and they got to go back there.
Right. They feed on what they know.
Hmm.
They feed on what they know. And in
Yeah,
that case, it was a negative energy, but they fed each other on it.
yeah, they really
Right.
did. And
And
Donna,
and for me, I mean, I have to have that positive energy in my life.
mhm.
I absolutely have to have positive energy in my life.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have to be in complete, pretty much step in harmony and balance, like I am with my spouse,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And my first spouse, we weren't in harmony together, and so we are no longer together. However, well, that's a whole different playing field.
Hmm. It's really amazing. It really is. And Donna, when it comes to what you're talking about there, the thing that comes to mind is your website there, donnaguimard.com, because Donna is an expert, ladies and gentlemen. She will give you a free, complimentary, 30-minute consultation to help you let go of these, either a person, a place, or a thing that's a roadblock in your life, because
Right.
you've got to give up that attachment if you really want to have joy and jubilee in your heart.
And be able to move forward.
Yes.
That's what it's all about, folks, is
Mm.
being able to move forward
Yeah.
and receive that incredible energy,
Hmm.
right? And so
Yes.
you get the balance and the harmony
Hmm.
in your life that, the universal energy
Mm.
is waiting for you.
That's
But
right.
boy, howdy, it's hard to get there if you've got a block in front of you.
Oh, yeah. Because you can email Donna there at highenergyrightnow@gmail.com. That's highenergyrightnow. She'll be glad to work with you. And also Bill Heinrich,
Yep.
uh, you know, he'll be glad to work with you too. And Bill's website, the truelifepurposenow.com. That's his website there. So between Donna and Bill, you can get one solid free complimentary evaluation of your roadblocks, what's holding you
Right.
back.
Right.
Because life is all about expansion.
Right.
The only limitations we put on ourselves is in our minds.
Well, think of it this way. We to go somewhere, we don't walk backwards.
Mm-mm.
Right? We don't walk backwards. Right? When you walk backwards, you will tend to trip over your own 2 feet and fall down.
Mm-hmm.
But when we walk forward and we can see clearly in front of us, wow, we can pick up the pace. We can get there when we need to get there. The list is endless. And essentially, guys, that's what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Are you walking backwards, staying stuck, falling over your own feet, or do you want to go forward and have the abundance of energy of the 7 levels of truth?
Wow. No, that's a tremendous statement you just made right there, because it's so true. That's a good way of putting it too, because we don't walk backwards,
Right?
I mean, you can hardly, I mean, when you're moving furniture, the person you don't want to be is the person, that's walking backwards with furniture,
I always make my husband do it. I'm like, I am not walking backwards. That's your job, buddy.
Bill talks about when he looks back in his life at the experiences in his life, he remembers them based on how they made him feel.
Right.
And that's what our memory is about. That's when we hear a song on the radio. That can take us back. Oh my goodness.
Or how
Oh,
about this one? There is a certain smell that takes you back to your childhood.
oh yeah.
I saw that on Facebook the other day, and the question was, what is a smell that takes you back to your childhood? Well, I grew up here in Arizona. We're not wealthy people. Everybody had swamp coolers, right? That is a smell that takes me back to my childhood.
Oh yeah.
Is that wet burlap?
Yeah.
It just takes me right back.
Yeah.
And it used to, when I was a little girl, it literally used to put me to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Because those swamp coolers out there, I lived in Arizona for 20 years, and I'll tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, I love the smell of those swamp coolers. And we would always crack the
The
windows.
windows.
Yeah, a little
Yep.
bit at the end. You hear that the air
Whoosh.
whistling through there. Oh, it was sweet because it was good and cool. And oh man,
Right.
Ooh.
It got a little rough in about July and August, but
Yeah, suck it up.
right, that's all we had. So, it's all we had. That's all we knew.
Yeah, it's like growing up in the cars. I mean, we just had the 455 air conditioning.
Right? 4 windows, 55 mile an hour.
That's right. That's right. And I tell you, we used to have a lot of fun with that. We really did. Bill talks about when you look back at your experiences in your life, you remember them, how they made you feel, and songs can do that, and smells can do that. Your scents can do that. Your
Right.
5 cents, and your 5 senses, I should say. But goodness gracious, sometimes if you ever get up in the morning, and I know you have, ladies and gentlemen, and all of a sudden you think of a song that you hadn't thought of in 29 years, three
Right.
months, and two weeks, and the sucker is just stuck in your head. You can't get it out.
Well, I always find it so interesting because it's as powerful, if not more powerful now
Mhm.
than it was to me 20, 30 years ago.
Mhm.
I'm 20, 30 years older. And so I can have a better understanding of the power of that moment.
Mhm. I appreciate it too.
Hmm.
I tell you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I tell you, Bill goes on here. He says the most memorable moments are the ones that created an authentic connection, a special feeling, maybe reconnecting with a loved one or having an intimate conversation with someone special. How many times have I said, I'd love to sit down and talk to my dad or my mother? Of course,
Right.
they're all both gone. And there's one thing that I've thought a lot about in my life, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to hear my mother tell me, Sonny boy, make sure you're home come supper time. And to sit down at mother's table and smell those homemade buttery biscuits.
Right.
I mean, just thinking about those, I mean, it just brings out the wolf in you because you want to wolf those things down just like
Right.
a hungry dog at a church picnic, okay, where everybody's feeding them.
Absolutely.
Oh, but it's amazing how that makes you feel.
Right.
And it's a good feeling too, isn't it?
It is. It is. I love this next portion where Bill
Go ahead.
talks about how he was involved in the making of a wisdom film with Bob Proctor, and it's called A Marvelous
Yeah.
Power.
Mhm.
In the wisdom film, Bob Proctor said something very profound, and I will never forget. The day we die, everything we own will go to someone else,
Mhm.
but everything we are will stay with us forever.
Isn't that the truth?
And I've always said there's only two things we take with us when we die. That's the love we give and the love we give away.
That's right.
What we give away and what we've received. That's
Mm.
it.
Yeah. Let
That's
me
what we
share
take.
something with you about a little bit about attachments, if I may, Donna. Me being retired military, yeah, all my now I've been retired since 2004, so it's been a while. But all of my uniforms are still, even though they no longer wear these uniforms, but they are starched and pressed. They're hanging in plastic in my closet, and I don't know what to do with them. But I do know what's going to happen to them after I'm gone.
They're going to go to your kids.
Yeah, and the kids are going to do what? They're going to take them down and probably donate them somewhere or
Right.
whatever. But for me, because my attachment and my feelings for that
Right.
uniform, being an instructor and all that, and your uniform had to be sharp if you were an instructor.
Oh,
You're not going to stand up there and look like you just slept in the thing.
right.
And my Cochrane jump boots, those bubble like you see on Beetle Bailey, the black toes and the heels on those things. Oh my goodness gracious. I still got them. And they look like they're black glass.
Right. Got a nice shine on them.
And every now and then, maybe once a year, I'll put them on and wear them. I walked uptown one day, and some of the former military guys, all they want to do is look at my boots. You know, I guess I had a boot fetish. But no, but my point being is that those things are obsolete now. I guess I could donate them to a museum if I wanted to, but maybe that's a good option. But my thing of it is, I'm so attached to them.
Right.
But when I die,
That
I'm going to be,
attachment's gone.
the attachment's gone.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you think about family that fight over things, and goodness gracious, it's pitiful.
Right.
And we've all seen it. We've all had it in our families. I mean, nobody's immune to it, you know?
Nope.
It's kind of like
Nobody.
everybody, it's kind of like everybody's got a relative. I'll guarantee you they will embarrass you in public. And don't kid yourself. You may pretend that, our family doesn't have anybody like that. Oh, really? Oh, we know better than that one,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think it's interesting because um, for me, it took a while to come to this.
Mhm.
Um, but when someone I love is no longer here on earth with us and has parted
Mm.
ways, although you miss the physical, I have learned to, um, I don't dwell on the physical. And that's been tough, but it's a beautiful lesson because what I think about is the love,
Mm.
not the
Oh.
physical, the love. And so, tears are seldom there
Mhm.
because I have that love. I'll always have that love.
Mm. You bet. Because when they live in your heart, love never dies.
Nope.
Love never dies.
Love is
Whoa.
eternal. Love
Yeah.
is eternal.
Yeah. It's really amazing. It's gonna give a forwarding address, okay?
Right.
But it never, never, never dies.
No.
That's how precious it is.
Hmm.
And that's why we crave it so.
Right.
Everybody deep down inside, whether they want to admit it or not, they want to be loved.
Right. And you deserve it.
Yes, you're entitled to that. Don't let anyone put you down or talk bad about you. Love them enough to forgive them and overlook how pitifully bankrupt they are on the inside as a person,
Right.
because they're definitely bankrupt.
Absolutely.
They're in
A-
serious trouble.
Absolutely. Well,
And
Jan,
Donna, I'd like to say one thing before we close today.
what's that?
I'm glad our paths crossed.
Me too.
I really am.
We are so blessed.
And it's all her fault too. I mean, she's the one that thought up everything.
No, it's my fault. I answered. Well, it's true. I answered the phone.
I came over. I spoke at an event there, and I was going back to Phoenix. This is a little bit later, and called her on the phone and all. But we met in Phoenix,
Mhm.
and to be honest with you, we met in an environment that was not healthy. You
It
might
was a
say,
little toxic.
yeah, 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 yeah. You wouldn't want a bucket full of that for breakfast. I can guarantee
No.
you. But look how the energy and the universe and the love it
Right.
now made that a distant memory.
Absolutely.
Really has. And it's sad because I feel sorry for the other ones too. I really do.
Right.
But that was the way we were destined to meet.
Absolutely.
And we're going to be
Absolutely.
back again tomorrow too.
We will be. We're going to
Mhm.
talk more about this, about how the best
Mm.
things in life aren't things.
Yes. And
And
please
we
bear with
encourage you
us.
to come back and join us. And we
Yeah.
appreciate you taking time being here with us today when we know you could
Oh,
be
yeah.
anywhere.
Oh, yeah. And please bear with us because we wanted to read this book, share this book with you because the verbiage, we couldn't improve on it.
Right?
We knew we couldn't improve on it. So we wanted to share this with you to give you some real valuable nuggets of truth rather than sit here and try to pretend that we know everything about the book. We want to share the truth with you because every time we read the book, we get something more out of it. And we're definitely out of time. And on
We are.
behalf of Donna and myself, we're going to be back tomorrow and we're going to share some more great information. And Mr. Bill Heinrich will be with us on Friday. So be sure and make sure you want to catch that because you'll get to see Mr. Bill Heinrich himself. Listen to the man talk. You can
In
tell
action.
he's the real deal. He's the real deal. You'll be able to see that. And we hope that you and your loved ones are healthy and happy and blessed in all areas of your life. Remember to love yourself first, and then you can love others. Remember to forgive yourself and forgive others, and laugh at the dumb things you do. Because if you do that, it's laughter is good and healthy for you. Number one, number two, it will help you deal with some of the things in your life that have aggravated you.
We
We'll
will.